The way in which our brain works is a marvel of nature, a complex network of cells and structures. This intricate organ is divided into two primary sectors, each housing a multitude of unique parts. From the cerebral spinal fluid to the meninges, each component plays a pivotal role in the grand symphony, which is our cognition and behavior. So prepare to dive into this exciting journey to understand some of the mysteries of the human brain. The brain, an organ of soft nervous tissue, divides into the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Comprising the brain and spinal cord, the central nervous system serves as the command center, analyzing input, formulating responses, and relaying them. It's sheltered within the skull and spine, guarded by cerebral spinal fluid and meninges. As for the peripheral nervous system, it's the courier, bridging the CNS with the limbs and organs, forming a communication network. Information from the environment is brought to the CNS, and instructions are dispatched to the body through the PNS, facilitating interaction with our surroundings. These two systems are akin to a symphony orchestra, with the CNS as the conductor, directing the PNS, the musicians, each division playing its part in this biological symphony to our daily lives. CNS makes the decisions, and the PNS carries the orders. Each of these divisions performs crucial roles, contributing to our everyday functioning. The brain houses various parts, each with a unique role. First, we encounter the brainstem, made up of the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. This ancient part controls our basic functions like heart rate, breathing, and swallowing. Next, we visit the cerebellum, our internal motor for balance and movement. It's our brain's autopilot, taking care of tasks we don't need to think about. Ascending, we find the brain's lobes: frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. The frontal lobe, our control panel, is crucial for decision-making and planning. The parietal lobe processes sensory information, while the occipital lobe is our visual processing center. The temporal lobe, meanwhile, is where we find our memory vault and language center. Hidden within our temporal lobe, we find the limbic system, our emotional powerhouse. This includes the hippocampus, critical for memory and learning, and the amygdala, our emotional thermostat, which regulates our emotional response. Deeper in, we find the diencephalon, made up of the thalamus and hypothalamus. This acts as a relay station, passing messages between parts of the brain. The hypothalamus, a tiny structure within the diencephalon, plays a role in controlling our body's homeostasis. Finally, we have the meninges, protective layers that shield the brain. They house a clear, colorless fluid, the cerebral spinal fluid. This fluid cushions our brain and aids in nutrition and waste removal. Intertwined within all of this are the spinal cord, a highway for messages, and the countless neurons and neurotransmitters that make communication possible. These parts, working in harmony, make us who we are, influencing our thoughts, actions, emotions, and personality. At the heart of the brain's functionality are neurons, neurotransmitters, and receptors, the tiny warriors that make everything possible. Neurons, the brain's communication specialists, transmit information via electrical and chemical signals. Picture them as a network of messengers, tirelessly delivering important notes from one part of the brain to another. Now, enter neurotransmitters, the messages themselves. These chemical compounds bridge the gap between neurons, carrying signals across a space called the synapse. They're like the words in a letter, conveying the heart of the message. Then we have receptors. These are the recipients of the messages. They're embedded in the membrane of a neuron, patiently waiting to receive neurotransmitters. Once a neurotransmitter docks onto a receptor, It's like the letter has been opened and read, the message is received, and the neuron responds accordingly. These microscopic elements are the unsung heroes of our everyday life, enabling us to think, feel, and act. The journey through the human brain is a fascinating one, filled with intricate parts and processes. We've traveled through the two principal divisions, explored the brain's parts, and delved into the magic of neurons, neurotransmitters, and receptors. We've seen the spinal cord, the brainstem, the cerebellum, the lobes, the limbic system, the diencephalon, and the meninges. We've flowed with the cerebral spinal fluid. Hopefully, now you have a better understanding of the marvelous organ that makes everything you do possible, the human brain.